We said it, Miami was the #1 class in the ACC, which means that there are no other ACC programs in the top 20. Everyone, though, they really would like to know what is happening in Chapel Hill with our friend Chapel Bill. Outside of a few pictures of him in living rooms, we have seen him on visits. It's been mostly quiet on the talent acquisition front. You can see some of the players that they have been able to bring in. I know Bryce Baker was a big one for them to keep. Few players leaving, but we were all just very curious to see what Bill Belichick on the road would be like, and bringing in a general manager with only experience in the NFL. So I'll throw this to you first. What do you think about what he's doing so far strategy-wise?
I think that he's doing very well. He's doing what I would do if I was the GM, right? If I was hired, my hands are tied behind my back. That staff comes in 2 weeks after the early signing period. Like 90% of the prospects out there are off the board, and they still had to go out and sign a high school class, and it wasn't an ideal situation. So what do? They looked in all different pockets of the country, and they found guys with developmental upside that for one reason or another just weren't headed to play somewhere. Some of them were getting out of paperwork agreements because there was coaching changes. Other guys were just simply overlooked. Torrey Newkirk, the quarterback they take out of Virginia, back-to-back state titles, Class 5A state titles. He's a lefty. Hudson Standish from the 24/7 Sports Scouting Department, he loved him back in May. He's like, Torrey Newkirk, why is no one recruiting this kid? I was sending him to schools, and no one made a move on him. Now, North Carolina adds a kid who should technically be a class of 2026 recruit that has gone 30-0 the past 2 seasons as a starter. Okay. So they've gone and they've found these individuals. And it wasn't going to be a top 25 ranked recruiting class, but you had to get some people inside the building. Every one of these names, you said, is relatively quiet. Unless you are, deep into the huddle, right? You're deep into the rankings like myself. You're not going to know these names, but these are guys that I think make a ton of sense. Obviously, Bryce Baker's the headliner. They're going to pair him with the Torrey Newkirk. They have to get that quarterback position right. Chapel Bill looking for his Tom Brady. I don't know if it's going to be one of these guys, but I like what they're doing from the high school side. And then Smoke, I know you like what they're doing in the transfer portal.
Love it. So if you're in the ACC and wondering what Bill and Michael Lombardi's doing, all you have to do is open up the handbook of the personnel department in New England. This is New England repeated 2025, college version of it. Like the way they build their offensive line, position flexibility, size in terms of interior offensive linemen. When you go from Daniel King to Lindenberg to Miles McVay to William Boone, like all of those guys are 6'6" plus, 330 pounds. And whenever you talk to those guys in New England, we just wanted to make sure that the pocket was firm and they can have position flexibility, meaning if they need to play guard or tackle in any game, we can just flip them. And highly intelligent football players on offense. And then when you look to the defensive side, it's like, oh my God, who are these guys? And you're going through names. And then you pull up C.J. Mims, transfer from East Carolina. And you're saying he's 6'2", 296 pounds. What can he do? Stout against the run, knows. And you're saying, who does he remind you of? Every interior defensive lineman for New England that no one wanted to recognize, that Bill found somewhere wrestling, that was stout at the point, unbelievably athletic when he gets out in the open, but you never see it because you're just saying he's 6'2". But when you go in and you actually study the film, like, dang, where the heck they come? But that's Lombardi. He's a scout. He's going to go to the extra level of finding guys that not highly ranked or coming from a P4 school that was a drop-down 5-star. He's going in the backyard in UConn and pulling out Bryce Yates, a 6'5", 265-pound, wiry defensive end that can just set the edge and an awesome pass rusher. And he said, okay, why are they getting all these guys from Washington? Well, Bill and Steve was up there for a period of time.
Yeah.
And everybody knows when Bill has that pencil in his ear and he's walking around like all his disciples have it, and you're talking, Drew, and you're saying, wow, Bill really likes what I'm saying. No, he's just taking notes of everything that you're saying to use against you. So when he was up in Washington, he was taking notes on all of those players. Just in case, if I get a job, I'm going to hire my son. He's going to be defensive coordinator. He's going to have everything already in terms of evaluation. And I already have my eval as well, too. And then he comes from, he's like, who is Thaddeus Dixon? Great last name to begin with. And he also plays.
Any relation?
No, but the only relation is he can cover like no other. Sticky coverage ability. And then you go to my man K House. And you say, Kamari House, who is he? Jamie Collins. Not saying he's the exact same player, but he's being used in that same role. So it's very eerie that you're looking at it and say, he's bringing the Patriot way to North Carolina. Smart, positionless players play highly intelligent ball. And if you're playing against that team, they're not going to beat themselves. They're going to be able to play a 4-3 defense, 3-4 defense, bare front, stick man coverage, zone blitz you in every situation that you want to with the same guys out there. Come out in the first half with one game plan, second half with the second game plan, just because that's what they want and that's what they're building. So, yes, high school, they didn't kill it because they didn't have time to. But in the portal, they figured out a way to find the pieces that they need to fit what they do in the personnel game.
There's been so much made about Bill Belichick's age, right? But we're seeing him in living rooms with, 2026 guys, 27 guys. He is really looking to the future. So how many years would you give him, Bill Belichick, to be an ACC contender?
Oh, yeah, he's going out on the road. Prime doesn't go out on the road. Dion, we never saw him doing it.
I love that we keep doing that comparison between those two. They're so similar.
They're both coming from the NFL game. I think we'll have an answer to that based on what North Carolina does here in 2026. I've mentioned it a few different times, on this channel. I can count maybe five-star prospects from the Tar Heels state in the class of 2026.
There's opportunity.
Yeah, Faison Brandon, obviously at the top of the board. He's committed to Tennessee. Rodney Dunham, just mentioned him a little bit ago with South Carolina. Love him as an edge player. South Carolina appears to be in good position. Kendra Harrison, the tight end, committed to Oregon. Aiden Harris, Ohio State's in a good position for him. So, I didn't know what to expect of Chapel Bill, the recruiter. Is he a guy that was going to go out there? But then you think about it, Smoke. I mean, this is someone that would go to like every pro day, and he would work out at the pro day. Like he would put the guys through positional drills. He is a football nut. He is a scouting nut. He kind of loves this stuff. So it'll be interesting to see as he adjusts to the modern college recruiting game, what does a summer camp look like at North Carolina? I mean, Mac Brown used to have the freak show. That used to be one of the biggest camps of the year, like Urban Meyer's Friday Night Lights at Florida. Like Saturday Night Live that Dan Lanning's got going on out there at Oregon right now that Mario Cristobal had started as well. Like, Are kids trying to show up to UNC and work out for him? I mean, why wouldn't you? This guy will literally coach you up. He's not going to be sitting in a golf cart. So, what's the runway? I think he's going to get through season one, see how it goes on the recruiting front. Hey, is this for me? Because it's not for everyone. We see a lot of guys leaving to go to the other way, to the NFL.
So, like 1 year, 2 year.
I mean, Pete Carroll's back in the NFL. That was surprising to me. So who knows?
Who knows? All right, we'll see what happens with North Carolina. But first, let's go to our friend Don Callahan from inside Carolina to give us a closer look.
The obvious headliner of this class is Bryce Baker, 4-star guy, in-state guy, a guy who's been committed longer than anyone else. He also has the potential to make the sort of impact that Drake May and Sam Howell have made before him. But we've talked about him ad nauseum, and he's already enrolled and participating in spring workouts with the team. So the true story on signing day of this class is just how, in a short period of time, Bill Belichick has been able to put his fingerprints all over this class. 8 signees are from Mac Brown, and since then, Belichick has been able to add roughly a dozen to this class. That includes former SMU signee and 4-star edge rusher Chinedu Unigoro, as well as former Wake Forest linebacker and tackle machine Tyler Hauser. And there are plenty of other guys that Belichick was able to add to this class. Is going to add much needed depth to this program.
You can check out more of Don's work at InsideCarolina.com. He and the whole crew do a fantastic job of covering everything. And a bomb was dropped in this offseason with Bill Belichick, so you definitely want to check out InsideCarolina.com. Also, a reminder, if you're watching us here on YouTube, to hit that like button and make sure that you are subscribed. We are about 20K away from 500,000 subscribers. We would love to see that number, especially in the offseason, because we know that you guys definitely care about what is happening in the world of college football.